Hello everyone, welcome to the aftermarket analysis session of the Indian market as we do every day. This is the aftermarket analysis session. Here we look at the Indian market's Nifty and Bank Nifty after they close to see where we observe buyers' interest, where we observe sellers' interest on the footprint, exactly where the buyers and sellers were. If you are new and want to learn order flow and want to learn how to use GoCharting effectively, you can join this live session every day at 5 p.m. The link for this live session is uploaded on the GoCharting's YouTube, Discord, and Telegram community. Also, if you are using GoCharting at that particular time, a notification pops up on the right side. You can join from here every day as well. This is the webinar link in case you missed the webinar. You can watch it in the evening on GoCharting's official YouTube channel, but we have open channels in almost every Panto or language. These videos are uploaded to all those channels in the respective languages, and you can watch them there as well. Okay, so now let's take a look at Nifty. Let's check the levels from the volume profile to see what levels we have from the volume profiles of the last few sessions. Okay, yesterday was completely bullish. It was a rally with an upside movement of about 450 to 500 points, meaning from the last trading session of the previous week, the volume profile provided confirmation here. Okay, what was the confirmation? The Deepak zone was here, and the volume node was also here. There was an important zone here, and we also had a volume node here, which was a zone from the last 3 days sessions. So we marked all 3 of these carefully and thoroughly. And according to the significant price action on the upside, as we observed, there was also a notable swing high. Additionally, we noted that there was a clear indication of this movement. Additionally, if we apply the volume profile here and look at this swing high and low, it exactly identifies the same VPOC zone. We marked this VPOC zone. And even if not according to the volume profile, there was beautiful price action being followed here. And the volume profile was also providing a very nice confirmation. So these were the levels for today's sessions. Okay, now, based on these levels, we will see what kind of confirmation the market gave us today in the footprint. Today's market volume was very controlled, and the footprint provided us with very beautiful confirmations. Okay, NSE has revised its tick size. So if you were using 180 before, and try using 90 once. What I mean is, whatever you were using, like if someone was using 200 or 300, have the tick size once, okay, then it will start appearing the same as before. Otherwise, you can go here. Go to the order flow settings for many people and click on auto here. This means that now, as you manipulate the chart, it will zoom in and zoom out accordingly. Right now, there are quite a few numbers, making it difficult to read, so let's zoom out. Look, now it is visible clearly. So from here, the numbers we see, like where Nifty is at 23,900, 950, grab it, move it up and down, and then zoom in and out from here. Your tick size will automatically adjust according to your screen. Before reading the footprint, we should know what delta is. Okay, now what is delta? In simple language, delta is the difference between the buyer and the seller. What is delta? Delta is the difference between the buyer and the seller. Like when we pick the first candle. On the right side of the footprint, we have buyers. And on the left side, we have sellers. Okay, so I added the sellers. Let's take a round figure of 1 lakh here to the sellers. We also note from the negative side, and then on the right side we have all the buyers. Now I added the buyers here. It came to 1,40,000. Okay, whoa. So what is the difference here? No, 40,000 is 40,000. No, so right here delta gave us this confirmation. No, 39.9, almost around 40,000. This is delta, and this delta is more of the virus. Okay, so we call it this positive delta. Okay, now from the next candle onwards, hold firmly. What happens here is when sellers are added, buyers are added, it will do the charging on its own, auto calculation. We just need to look at delta. This time we observed a negative delta, which means just sellers are red. In the box, you will find a negative sign in front of the positive delta value. Here there is no negative sign, meaning this is positive delta. And in this candle, there is a negative sign. This is a negative delta, which means there are more sellers within this candle. Around 12,000, this delta tells us. Pick any candle, pick the first candle, saw the delta, bullish candle with positive delta means more buyers. Pick the next candle, more sellers. Pick the next candle, again, more sellers. Pick the next candle, again, more outside. Okay, understood this much, I think. Now look at this. Look at one candle. Look at one candle. Look at one candle, and look at one candle. Meaning, what is the delta of these candles? Now, talking about both positive and negative, there is a positive delta. Again, positive delta. Sorry. In positive delta, what is the value of delta? Around 40,000, near 40,000. Here, the value of delta is 45,000. Here, it is 31,000. Here, again, 31,000. Meaning the value of delta is very large, whether it is positive or negative. And here, look, 12,000, 19,000. Again, 12,000, meaning in the range of 10, 20, 10, 20, even in the range of 20 is very less. Look again in the range of 10. Look here, only 825. Look here, only 4,000, meaning there are some candles whose delta is very high, and there are some candles whose delta is very low. So in the candles where the delta is heavy, there has been more buying and more selling. And where there is more buying and more selling, that's where the big players are present. Big players, okay, and those are the ones who have the potential to move the market. And in the candles where the delta is very low, there isn't as much solid buying and selling happening. Okay, boy. So what is the better option? Whom should we follow? Where the big players are present, where there are large transactions, like 25, 30, any. Candle with a delta above 30. We will observe those candles to see what is happening. You can skip any delta that is below 30,000, or once you learn to read the footprint well, you can also read that before the first candle. Now look, everyone knows this, right? Yesterday's VBUP zone and volume note were there. So, okay, as long as it doesn't break to the downside according to the volume profile, there is no bearishness. What was observed in the first candle? A significant positive delta was observed, which means there is no selling activity, no bearishness. Okay, keep one thing in mind about the first candle. It has a very large volume, and sometimes the market doesn't move in that direction. So, always trade the first candle cautiously, because it may be that many people hold positions overnight and exit in the first 5 minutes, especially option sellers. Maybe just look at the delta of the first candle, bullish delta, no bearishness, and it held yesterday's VWAP zone well. What happened in the next two candles? No selling activity. Which candle to follow? The one with a delta around 30,000. Otherwise, small players are present here. Now comes the concept of minimum data. How much did the minimum delta go here? T1's fourth, and at the time of candle closing, how much was it here? 12,000. This also indicates a lot of business here. Bullishness means that sellers were quite strong here for a moment. but again, as it closed, they came out. 2 candles are also bullish. For those who don't know what minimum delta and maximum delta are, quickly go to GoCharting's YouTube channel. Just search for maximum delta versus minimum delta, you will understand. Then watch the rest of this video. The next candle has no bearishness, meaning there are quite a few buyers in it. There was selling, but again, buyers. If you combine minimum delta and delta, Nifty held yesterday's VWAP zone until 4:20 p.m. and no seller was interested. That means it's bullish. This is quite bullish, you can assume. There is a concept called selling exhaustion, meaning sellers disappear whenever. Okay. And if the market is holding a support, a good upward movement can be seen. It means the market will rise above the spot of sellers. This is the probability. A bullish sign was shown here by holding the VWAP zone. There was no selling, no problem. Look ahead, again delta above 30. And here, again, the delta is above 30. What happened in this candle is that there was a big buying. What is the delta indicating? A big buying of 40. Now we will go to the footprint of this candle. The delta indicated big buying. On the virus side, which side? Right side. Okay, now right side. But we have these 4 buying activities. Among these 4 buying activities, the biggest buying activity is at 53, 37. Okay, mark that zone. To consider this as support, we mark it in green. Nothing else. Where the biggest buying has occurred. I only marked those orders. In the next candle, was there any selling activity? But look at the delta. It's not negative. Again positive. Again positive. Held well with positive delta, with a pullback. Okay. An upside movement was observed. See, a pullback came from the buyer's side. In the upside movement, there was a candle where negative delta was observed. And this is the selling activity of 42K. It means sellers have come, but the market is still bullish from here. The market is still bullish from here. Okay, and somewhere here, there has been more buying with positive data of 31K. So until the market breaks this buying zone, it means simply understand that when it came out here, until this virus zone breaks to the downside, no bearishness was observed. Did selling come in? No, a significant amount of selling came in. But what happened here? Now, look here. As soon as the market came here, all the selling turned into positive delta. Again, very little negative delta. And look at this, a larger positive delta than this negative delta. There were 9,000 more sellers in this candle. And there was a buying activity of 15,000. Order flow helps you in this way too. It's a red candle. Sorry. This one, red candles. And there is a positive delta. Here too, it helps a lot. Again, it held. No selling activity was seen. It held for 10 minutes, 15 minutes here. The market got stuck at support. A selling activity occurred. But look, everything stopped at the support. In any case, if the support had broken, then we would have considered it, because from here the sellers started making their entry and pulled the market significantly down. But no, as soon as it came to the buyer zone, the sellers disappeared. Here, again, another zone was displayed and held well. Again, another upside movement. Now, look here. After that candle, where big buyers came in, a large amount of data came in. 48, 46, buying happened within these 2 candles. Buying happened within these 2 candles. Okay. This candle, sorry. Within these 2 candles, within this candle, and this candle. Again, how will we see the buyers in both candles? We looked at the delta. On the buyer side, good buying happened. Look here, buying of 29, buying of 24, buying of 33, buying of 43. Again, mark that buying zone. See, buying activity happened up to here. Is there a seller in this candle? No seller, no seller. For 15 to 20 minutes, the market was well stuck and gave a very small upside movement. Unmarked went up. And today, not today, the biggest negative data of today, selling of 102 happened. But did this selling of 102 break this buying zone? No, it didn't. What happened here was selling of 104. And look, the market came up from here. Whatever happened here, the selling of 104 was all absorbed here. Further selling came and went, like here. There was a delta of 31 in this candle, and selling of 42 came here, selling of 104 came, and then the market couldn't break the bullish zones where buying happened, and again, all the selling was absorbed there, and another upside movement was seen with continuous buying. The next buying of 36 happened within this candle, and which buying zone? This buying zone of 57. Again, the market couldn't hold this level for long, got stuck here, and there wasn't much point in going further because the resistance is standing here, which we had identified by marking the previous swing high and low with the volume profile. Okay, it settled here again and took rejection, leading to an upside movement. So, if we look at today's overall conclusion of Nifty, what did we observe? First of all, we saw a selling or coin exhaustion within the first four candles, which is a business. And where did we see this selling? An exhaustion above yesterday's VPOC zone, above the volume node. Then, within this candle, a good amount of buyers held without any selling interest, gaining hold in the upside movement. Sellers faced some difficulty, but as soon as the market came to support, all sellers fled, and again, upside movement and buying activity came, held, and the upside movement continued. Nifty was in an uptrend throughout the day, and order flow kept, leaving its super confirmation at every uptrend. This was today's Nifty. Now, let's quickly look at Bank Nifty. Bank Nifty didn't have much movement today. It was bullish, but it was more sideways. Once the bullish BB movement was seen, it became sideways. Let's see how order flow helped us in this bullish movement. Look at the first candle, a positive delta of 102, a positive delta of 102. And if we go to the buyer's side, where was the biggest buying? Buying of 26K, 25, 30K, 21K, 21K. I think the most wine happened here. The most wine happened here. And a big buying of 26K happened here. So until the market breaks the buyer's zone, the bullishness remains. In any subsequent candle, there wasn't any solid basic buying. Again, it held on the pullback. Look at the data. Again, a positive delta of 13. 5K, again, every candle's positive delta. Nothing on the selling side, nothing at all. It held well. Upside movement, two candles came, and in these candles, good buying was seen. Again, it came to support, and an upside movement followed. Throughout the day, Bank Nifty gave a movement with very small candles, and then from this support zone, it gave a movement, and then almost after 11:25, it was sending sideways all day. Here, the first candle's buying zone helped us a lot. This was today's live session. Now, anyone who has doubts can ask themselves by unmuting.